Welcome to our 5K Art Tribe collaboration for July. This month we were super excited to have Lisa Marvin host us, and her challenge was to be inspired, find something that inspires you, and reimagine it. So my inspiration was actually a neutral video, number 332, that Lisa did in the bloom style. And the reason I chose this is because I have a commission for a 20-inch Lazy Susan utilizing these colors, which is a very neutral, subtle color palette of Naples yellows, some sage and cactus green by Arteza, and Decoart Champagne. So of course with blooms, sometimes you have to play around with the layering, and I did a couple of test pieces and scraped a few pieces to find the right layering to give the effect that my client was looking for. This is Arteza Cactus Green, a mix of a darker Naples yellow along with the Arteza, I think it's called golden hue pearl paint. Then the Amsterdam Naples yellow and Decoart Champagne, and I'm using a white cell activator. This is being painted on, also Arteza Pistachio. I'll list the colors in the description. Some of them were tweaked a little bit to deepen the two yellow colors, and I added pearl white to the Naples yellow by Amsterdam to make it a metallic paint. This is a 10-inch round canvas, and also preparing for an exhibition and art season coming up this fall, so I thought having some smaller pieces would be a good idea. Typically at art shows, people are either looking for small pieces or very big pieces. So my exhibition will have a variety of both. And that exhibition will be at Arts Bonita in October. So this first piece that I did, the practice piece, I do like this. This was a challenging color palette for me, as it was a departure from my typical, I usually use 6 colors in a bloom. I don't layer a bunch of different colors of competing values typically. So I work a lot in monochromatic color palettes, but this was a particular challenge because the yellow can definitely change some of your greens, and I was really trying to keep the sage or blue hued green pure in this. So I was separating with champagne and pearl white to ensure that those yellows would stay true and the greens would stay true as well. So this is a first attempt on the 20-inch Lazy Susan, which was taped and primed. I prime with Zinsser 123, and I usually do a couple of coats of that before I paint on a Lazy Susan because I don't want it to warp, and I also want to fill in any cracks and gaps. So here's the blowout, and I will show you this blowout from the side as well. I realize that having the hairdryer in the way doesn't really give you all of the details. And the challenge on making a minimalist style bloom is that you have all these layers of color in the center, and then when you start to blow it out, it can be a little difficult sometimes to keep those colors true to their original shade. One of the things that I do is I'll layer just pearl white in between them to help with that. And I'm also using a white pillow. And in this case, blowing down to the pillow wasn't a negative. It's actually what my client is looking for. She's looking for something very wispy and subtle in her Lazy Susan because her dining room and living room is in very earthy feel in terms of just light taupes and barely there yellows and greens. So she wanted something that complemented that instead of something that took over the center of attention. And champagne was definitely the right metallic shade to pair with this, as it does not overtake or get too bossy, as my friend Kathleen says, like Decoart 24 karat gold would have. So I really love the concentration of the yellows here on this closest edge, and how the greens kind of fanned out on the opposite side. This was a multiple take for this particular Lazy Susan. I think I scraped it 3 times. Either there was too much color, not enough color, too much mixing of the yellow and green, not enough marrying of the yellow and green. And I tested multiple ways to layer the paints, which can seriously change your outcome. And unfortunately, because of the size of my spinner and the size of the Lazy Susan, it was very hard to get close to it to blow it out. So I had to use the hairdryer, which is not my preferred way to blow out a bloom. I typically like to mouth blow instead of use a hairdryer. I'm adding some pillow. Sometimes once that pillow sort of spreads out after the blow, you realize you don't have enough. And it's important to make sure that's balanced before you spin, so that extra paint can start pulling off your color over the edge. I definitely wanted color on these edges, as did my client, and I knew that we were likely to end up with some beautiful edges and some very subtle gradients with these yellows. The video really does not do this justice. Almost all of these paints are pearl metallics, and the cell activator really did a great job. I actually had to make additional white cell activator. I used Liquitex titanium white because I could not find my Amsterdam, and it actually worked just fine. I had about a quarter of the Amsterdam left, and I added Liquitex and Australian Floetrol, and it seemed to work really well. I haven't tried alternative cell activators other than the Creative Inspirations brand, so it was an interesting experiment in that regard. And my client really wanted this color to be concentrated in the center and the outer areas to be very wispy and subtle. So it's partially dry. Unfortunately, I can't really give you a dried result yet. But in my next video, hopefully I'll be able to show you dry and resined. Then I decided to do an additional canvas and add TLP Sockeye salmon and do what I call a lateral blowout, which means putting your colors all down in a row and blowing predominantly to the center and very minimal blowing lower. And I'm doing this to test this minimalist style of a bloom and really take advantage of that pillow and showing these colors as they slide across a pillow and get lighter and lighter. I've heard artists refer to this as a watercolor effect, and I'm really thinking beyond the traditional bloom that's very intense with multiple colors and a lot going on, and sort of reimagining the bloom to be a little bit more minimalist in style. And this one, I think, will end up being my favorite of these, just because the addition of that sockeye salmon really seemed to make a difference in the intensity of these colors. And definitely will show you the dried results of this once it's varnished on my next video as well. I am kind of gearing up to do a larger version of this with the sockeye salmon for this same client. She's wanting a triptych for above her sliding glass doors in a 24 by 24 size. And I'll be experimenting with blooming across 3 canvases. So far, I'm about 75% there in terms of transferring that bloom across 3 canvases in a way that makes sense for a triptych. And we'll be testing that on a 12 by 12 triptych size very soon, so I'll be showing you that video as well. Look at the edge. That petal just blew right over the edge perfectly. So coming up, this particular color palette will be featured in that triptych style across 3 canvases, and I'll test it first on the 12 by 12 size and then go to the 24 by 24 size. That means I've got to totally reset my studio, add a 48-inch wood board to my spinner, which I've done in the past for very large pieces, and clear out my entire table and use my big puppy pool. So a lot coming in terms of exploring this minimalist color palette and minimalist style bloom, and something new and exciting on a bloom in terms of blooming across 3 canvases, which, you know, the biggest challenge you have with that is where the 2 canvases meet, you often get a lateral line, and spinning it out certainly will do that as well. So I'm experimenting with taping those and then pulling the tape once I've got it mostly blown out for composition's sake. So all of that's going to be coming up soon in a video. And I want to take this moment to just thank Lisa Marvin for being such a fantastic guest artist for us this month. And she's always so inspiring and encouraging. I really appreciate that. And also to just thank you for your time and attention. Our 5K Art Tribe is striving towards 5K subscribers, and more importantly, the 4,000 watch hours that you have to have within 1 year, which is a more difficult metric than just the subscriber number. So we're all striving that direction and working on future videos and future collaborations. We've got a great lineup coming for August and September, and featuring some guest artists, and we're really enjoying this time together. Everyone is so encouraging and collaborative. So thank you all for the Art Tribe. Thank you, Lisa Marvin. And hopefully you'll come back here next month on the second Wednesday. And we look forward to seeing you for the next collaboration. Really appreciate your time. Hopefully you'll comment, let us know what you think about these videos. That always helps the channel grow, and hope to see you soon.